This meeting of the Executive Finance Committee is called to order. Darrell, would you please provide the invocation?
Lord, we thank you for this day that you blessed us with. We ask that you keep your hand upon each and every one here. We ask that you help us on our way home, keep everyone safe and in your care. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Thank you. Shelley, would you provide roll call?
Yes, sir. Keith Austin.
Here.
Joshua Sam.
Here.
Danny Callison. Julia Coates.
Here.
Sean Crittenden.
Here.
Joe Deere.
Aye.
Mike Dobbins.
Here.
Rex Jordan. Johnny Kidwell.
Here.
Daryl Legg.
Here.
Wes Snowfire.
Aye.
Dora Petzkowski.
Here.
Mike Shambaugh.
Here.
Melvina Shotpouch. E.O. Smith.
Here.
Condessa Teehee. Victoria Vasquez. We have a quorum.
Thank you. And I'd entertain a motion for approval of the minutes of the July 11th meeting. A second, we got a first and a second there. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Same sign. Motion passes. Reports. Mr. Chuck Garrett, are you with us today?
Yes, sir.
Good
afternoon.
Good afternoon. Tell us what's good.
Well, I am very pleased to report on, we have provided the July financials to the council for you. Very pleased to our business lines performed above budget last month, as they have for the last several months. So we are really strong as we near the end of our fiscal year. I think we're going to have some year-end numbers that will be very pleasing to all of you, and very happy about that. One little statistic I wanted to provide, just a current workforce headcount. We have 7,745 employees currently at CMB. Of those, 63% are of those positions that we can perform and exert preference. 63% are Cherokee citizens, and 70% are Cherokee or other tribal affiliations. So we're still looking for, as I mentioned at council the other evening, still looking for some good women and men to join. Certainly appreciate any direction or any candidates that you think would be good to have on the team. We would certainly appreciate you all sending our way. That be happy to entertain any questions and that you might have.
Chuck, a question I've got, or a conversation I want to have more than questions, so to speak.
Sure.
I know we've got Cherokee preference, and then we've got native preference and non-native following that. Do we make any provision for a spouse of a Cherokee citizen in our preferential hiring, or a head of a Cherokee household?
I don't think that's one of our considerations. I probably should confirm that, but I know, obviously the Cherokee citizen preference is the first, and then if there's not a qualified Cherokee candidate, then we go to a native consideration, and from there I think it's sort of a open consideration.
I've always thought that we need to really consider that, especially with the struggle at finding quality employees right now, and in the number that we need, is looking at that group of people who are supporting a household where Cherokee people live as a layer, someplace in that preferential treatment.
Yeah, I think the problem has been in the past the verification of those relationships. Without getting into marriage certificates and other forms of verification. I think that's been one of the big challenges that the business has faced in the past, and may or may not. It's probably less of an issue for the nation, but also consideration. But I can certainly bring that subject back up, and let's take another look at it.
Thank you. Are there other questions? Counselor Dobbins.
Chuck, I was wondering if you could just enlighten the council a little bit on some of the big contract wins we've had, particularly with Cherokee Federal, say in the last 60 days.
Yeah, well, and I kind of mentioned this the other evening, but when I mentioned the IRS contract at council, I mean, that's a very significant contract, almost $300 million of work for us to help the federal government evaluate the processes, streamline the procedures to help the IRS be more effective and efficient at processing returns. That's a very significant contract, and one that we think, and if you might have been following in the news, the IRS just received a special appropriation, very significant, billions of dollars type of allocation and appropriation to reinvest in that agency. So we're going to be right in the middle of that, and so we're excited about that. Also, down in Carrizo Springs, we'll be providing additional support for some of the unaccompanied children that are already there. This is an established intake center, and that we'll be providing some additional support for. Very significant dollar amounts related to that contract as well.
Is that the one, Chuck, with the DOI? I just got a news release. It just said it was out of Herndon, Virginia for $215 million.
Yeah, that's be a different contract. And I don't have the specifics on that, as that's a relatively fresh off the line here. But I think it's based out of Virginia, which is some of the different agencies that we serve, federal government. That's where they're located. That's why we have an office there as well. And so I'm not certain on the specifics of that particular contract, but we have been, and this is really not even the big contracting season. It's a seasonal thing. For that last 3 months of the year, you'll see us winning some more significant contracts. And as part of my report, I'll start to maybe mention 3 or 4 of the more recent contracts that we won, so that council has a good appreciation for some of the agencies we're serving and some of the things we're doing.
Thank you, Chuck. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Are there other questions? I'm seeing none, Mr. Garrett. So
All right.
we'll talk to you later.
I appreciate it. I'll go try to make us some money.
Good deal.
Thank you.
Thanks. Treasurer Taylor, did you catch me almost?
Good afternoon, council. I saw most of you earlier in the week doing pre-budget calls. Anybody who was not able to attend one of those, feel free to call me if you have any specific questions regarding the budget that we're going to look at here in a couple of weeks. I just have a couple of updates in addition to the things that were in my report. The utility assistance, as of this afternoon, we have sent out 4,217 payments for a total of $6,325,500. The first batch of relief for Cherokee Ranchers was going out today. 561 payments of the 2,000 are ready to process for $280,500. So pretty quick turnaround on that program. So that's all I have in addition to what was in the book. I'll be happy to take any questions.
Do we have questions for Treasurer Taylor? With her being here, I think it's appropriate to remind everybody that we do have budget hearings on September 6th, 7th, and 8th. However, if we do our work in advance, it shouldn't take 3 days. It's not taken 3 days in a while. If we will all make sure that we direct our questions to Treasurer early and copy me on those, then we will be prepared for the meeting and be able to make sure the meeting goes very quickly and make sure anybody who has a need to be here for that meeting to answer a question is here. So I sure appreciate that. So we can be very efficient that for the budget hearings. Anything you want to add to that?
Not that, but it did cause me to think of something. We signed an agreement with IHS earlier. We had a signing ceremony before this. And I think that here at Cherokee Nation, we are very good at investing our own dollars when we see a problem. I mean, this water thing has been a long time coming, but we've invested considerable American Rescue Plan dollars in that, and then tribal dollars. The Mankiller Soap Act goes back a couple of years. And I think that when we do that, and when we step out with our own money and start these initiatives, it makes federal funding agencies take notice that we cared enough about it to get it started with our own dollars. And so I want to express appreciation to this group because you all are the ones that approve all of those initiatives, and a lot of times you're the ones that start the initiatives. And so, I mean, the best example is the reentry program. I mean, that's my favorite story. Started out with a $20,000 donation, and now I can't even count how many lives it's changed and how many federal dollars it's opened up, simply because we stepped out and started it with our own money. So I want to thank you guys for always being willing to look where there's a problem, figure it out, how we can fund it, and people are noticing. So good work.
Thank you, Treasurer. That is, what you just said is exactly the reason why it's appropriate that we have business talk right before you, because they are the tool that allows us to have that flexibility. Yes, Councilor Brenton.
Just real quick, the 4,000-something families that were helped, Jennifer's team, your team, a lot of hands on it. By golly, that's what you call down home helping people. I mean, utilities, that's your basic needs, and those numbers are impressive. You know, the ranchers, what you guys did in a pretty quick, like you said, turnaround. So just proud of the staff that you guys have, and thank you again.
Well, I want to say that's another example of Cherokee Nation stepping out. What brought us to the point to be able to turn around, in particular, those rancher applications and get the funding out was during the pandemic. We were a paper-based tribe. I mean, we had always, people walked in, they applied for stuff and everything, and we had to find a different way. And moving to that portal, investing our own dollars in that, because we did not have coronavirus dollars when we did that, but there was a need with our citizenry. We jumped out, we did that, and so that is what is allowing us to get the funding out there so much more quickly. And it's not always quick, but it's not always as quick as we would like it, but we're getting so much better.
Yes, Councilor Leggett.
And I'd like to give a shout out to Gina Black Fox in the call center, because, we brag about this, but y'all don't go smooth all the time. And they stay on the phones 24/7, it seems like, over there. And if you call Gina, she'll help. They actually call, and then they actually resourced a guy to other programs to help get. They missed the clothing voucher thing, but they were able to resource him out. And but I would like to give a big shout out to Gina Black Fox and that crew also for
Yes,
doing what
she's
they do.
doing a great job.
Because they're making everybody shine.
Are there others? All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Treasurer. Ms. Diane Kelly. How are you today?
I'm great. Anna Knight gave me some words of wisdom as I was coming in here. She said, keep it short. You've got my report, and on the cover is our construction events. And my staff said, make sure that you plug those construction events. We've done 4. The first 2, we had really good turnouts, mediocre the last 2. But I think it was because it was right there on the border of Arkansas. We don't know. That's what we're saying. We're going to the Hard Rock next week on Wednesday. And we've also been asked to come to Oklahoma City. So that's, at large. So we know that there's a lot of taro vendors in the Oklahoma City area, and they've requested us to come up there. So the staff's working with them to come up there, and then we're also going to go meet with the manufacturer, not the manufacturing, but the Contractors Association. So trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone while we're up there. So it'll be sometime in February. But no, the staff have been working hard on trying to get a lot of information, working very closely with Housing Authority and with C&B, and doing a lot of work with them. We have been opening offices. They're not officially open yet. We're just getting things moved into. The J.W. Sam's, we've started moving. Jennifer will be moving probably next week. We hope to have some sort of a ribbon cutting in the next few weeks, but it'll be after the holiday, I can assure you that. And then the chief was gracious enough to let us move into the food distribution building site there in Veneta. So we're working on that, trying to get some flooring down, and we'll be moving in there. We have, I believe it'll be the middle of September when they hope to have everything finished at Pryor. So in October, we'll have a ribbon cutting up there in Pryor for the expansion, for the build-out up there. So we're just real excited about all the movement that's going on. And we are working toward getting somewhere up in the Washington County area at some point in time. The chief has asked us to look at trying to move out within a 30-mile radius this next year. So that will be one of our goals for this next year, and we're working on it. And this time next year, we can say that we're just about 30 miles everywhere. And of course, Jennifer will be right there with us, so we're working on that. We've been working with Human Services, our homeless project, and registration. And of course, you talked about the portal. We keep adding more and more things to the portal. And then we are busy trying to keep everybody on all the requests that we get for help. Our youth programs are over with. All the kids have gone back to school. So we're trying to recruit a lot of these dropouts to come to Job Corps. So we've just got a lot of stuff going on. I've got staff everywhere. You might see us down in Sequoia County today, and tomorrow we may be in the Tulsa area, or we may be up around Bartlesville, or we may be up at South Coffeyville. So we're out and about everywhere. I told somebody, it was an Adair County person, and of course I live in Adair County. I said, believe it or not, the Cherokee Nation is bigger than Adair County. And we go all over. And they said, really? They thought it was just the Cherokee Nation was here in Tahlequah and Adair County. And I said, no, it's a lot bigger than that. But we're working on some grants. We have one that went into the Department of Labor. Should know something about it maybe in the next couple of weeks. And we're also in the process of working with grants management on some other grants. So we hope to utilize those for training and for jobs and expanding our resources. So, is there any questions?
Are there any questions? Yes. No, you were first.
Good afternoon, Diane. It's so good to see you.
Thank you.
I always enjoy the reports from Career Services because they always include that personal touch.
Thank you.
And some personal stories and pictures, and they're just really wonderful. I just wanted to say how much I enjoyed the end of season events for the youth workers, and I wasn't able to make the one for the interns. But it was really a special, outstanding event, and you just saw the pride on the children's faces for having accomplished so many weeks of work and in the different locations. And I just wanted to commend you and your staff for a wonderful event and for wonderful service to our Cherokee Nation youth as well.
Thank you, and I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to be there for one of those events. It means a lot to these kids to have the chief, the deputy chief, and you council members, and if I'm not mistaken, EO, I think you made every one of them, didn't you? And you did good, and I appreciate you.
And I think there may be a potential opportunity. Someone in District 2 reached out about something, I believe it would be career services related, but I'll have to touch base with you. Maybe not after the meeting, but I'll email you about that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Be glad
thank
to
you.
look into it.
Thank you for the time, Chair.
Counselor Smith?
It'll be a thing on the rolling thing. I think that was a big success. Maybe the numbers wasn't quite there, but one of the contractors was going into it, and he got to talking to a kid and hired him out in the lobby before he ever got there, so.
That is great.
But a couple of contractors said they were very impressed, and I know some other people got jobs out of it, so it was a good deal.
That's basically what I told the staff. I said, you may not have had the volume that you had at some of the other places, but if you got people jobs, that's what we're all about.
Are there others? Diane, I don't know, they just don't care, do they?
I just want to remind everybody the Cherokee holidays next weekend, not this weekend, but the following weekend. We're working on the parade, and we're also working on open house, and I sure hope that the tribal council has a display here for open house so that the people can see that you guys are actually doing a lot of stuff in your districts. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Diane. Anna Knight. She kept it pretty short for you, Anna.
That was shorter than she usually.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, she did. Our holiday starts this weekend. So Fast Pitch starts this weekend, and then all the major events. I think you guys are going to really be pleased with the holiday this year. This will be our first hybrid that is live streamed and in person, and there's going to be a lot of improvements that came with the live stream. I think you'll be impressed with it. So other than that, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them about our report. We're on track to do about $2.5 million in small business loans again this year, and just busy trying to keep up with everything.
Does anybody have questions for Anna? Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, Chair, I feel like my hand is always up, but welcome, Anna, and it's good to see you this fine afternoon in Cherokee Nation. I asked a question in a previous meeting about a program that is through Commerce that makes up the difference in income for employees who are under that $15 per hour wage mark.
Right.
As they're being leveled up. Is that something that's ongoing? Is it, is there a deadline for application, or?
No, it's ongoing, and we have just under 900 employees in the program. And we had some that did decline to participate, but very few. And as new employees come on, Human Resources is giving them an application and having them fill it out in the orientation. And they're actually using it as a recruitment tool to try to bring people in to fill some of those positions. So it's going very well, and it should remain in place till they reach the $15 an hour minimum wage.
That is really fantastic. I really appreciate Commerce taking that initiative and administration taking that initiative as well. So if there is an employee who has already declined it, is that something that they can then start participating
Sure.
in? Okay, great. Well, that is fantastic news. And I know next weekend is going to be extremely busy. You and your staff have been hard at work. Holiday is going to be back in person for the first time in, 2 years? So I am so excited and thrilled to be able to see the marching bands in the parade, the Pride of Sequoia in the parade, and all of the wonderful events that are going to happen. And I thank you and your staff for all of your hard work on it.
I will pass that along. Thank you. It takes over about 400 volunteers from employees to put the holiday on. So, yeah, it is definitely a big team effort. So I will pass that along. Thank you.
Yeah, a labor of love for sure. And thank you so much for the time, Chair.
Thank you. Are there others? I do want to say how excited we are for the holiday this year. I think people who were elected for the first time in 2019 or 2021 have simply not got to experience holiday as a council person. And that's something that we all need to be celebrating together. So I'm so glad we're able to this year, and thank you for your work on that. I do have a question about the application that Councilor Teehee was talking about. You said a few have declined?
A few did decline. There's a financial education piece to it, and frankly, a few of them didn't want to do the financial education piece. A few of them were concerned they might lose some benefit by increasing their household income, and so we worked with them individually. There are 98% of the employees that are eligible for the program are enrolled in the program. So it's an excellent uptake rate.
Yes, it is. Thank you. Appreciate that. Is there anything else? All right, Anna.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
I'd like to recognize Chief of Staff Corey Bunch for a special brief announcement.
Seal Nagad, good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be here in front of you today. Just wanted to make a special announcement. You may have seen a press release yesterday or seen an email earlier today, but the Cherokee Nation has been named by Forbes magazine as one of the top 10 employers in the state of Oklahoma. So just want to bring that to your attention. We have amazing employees, and of course, let's celebrate our employees. Over 4,300 employees, and I'll tell you, from my observation, oftentimes our employees go above and beyond. They're working extra hours. They're just really even sometimes using their own resources to make things happen for our citizens, and we really appreciate our employers, but we also appreciate our workplace, and I just wanted to bring that to your attention, Chair.
Thank you. I think the idea that Cherokee Nation's been recognized as a top 10 employer means that we've got top 10 employees.
Correct.
And that only happens because the employees and the employer are all on the same page. They're working towards the same mission. They understand what our goals are. It's a phenomenal thing to be able to
Make the list. Thank you.
Well, I just want to make sure we emphasize that's all of Oklahoma too. That's not
all of
within the
Oklahoma,
Cherokee
yes.
Nation, but all of Oklahoma,
Yep.
including all other tribal nations. All right,
That's it.
thank you.
Thank you. Well,
Hey, did any other tribal nations make the list?
not that I'm aware of, no, but we were able to beat out some pretty heavy hitters like Quick Trip for one and some other ones, so we're pretty pleased with it.
That's excellent. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you, Chief of Staff. Now, we're on to our consent items. We've all been supplied our consent items and had the opportunity to review them. If there's anything in our consent items that are of concern, now would be your time to speak.
Chair,
Yes, Jody?
I do have one change to make on the roads report for Council Lady Shot Pouch. We're increasing the bus yard parking lot from 120,231 to a little over 150,000. That was a change that come in after the report went out, so.
Thank you for making us aware of that. Is there anybody that has any questions or comments with that additional information? All right. Thank you, Jody.
Okay.
Now, we've got no old items, no old business items. We've got 2 new business items. And Counselor Sam, would you take act number 1, please?
This is an act amending Legislative Act number 43-21, authorizing the comprehensive capital budget for fiscal year 2022, Mod 6, and declaring an emergency. I put this in form of a motion.
We've got a first and a second. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. Counselor Dare, would you take number 2?
This is an act amending Legislative Act 44-21, authorizing the comprehensive operating budget for fiscal year 2022, Mod 11, and declaring an emergency. I put that in the form of a motion.
We've got our first and second. All in favor, would you say aye? Any opposed, same sign. Thank you, that passes. We need one, well, are there any announcements? Yes, ma'am.
I just want to remind everybody and invite everybody to our annual hog fry, our 69th. And the honorees of that are gone, but we're good and remember, so everybody's invited, all the meats provided, and you just bring yourself and listen to some good music. And we do get some good music down there. We've had Sean down there a few times, but the ones that come now are really good. So anyway, you're invited Sunday at 12:30. It's on South 550 Road, Uchi, Oklahoma.
Thank you, we're looking forward to it. Yes,
Yes, so I'm having a community meeting August 30th at Black Gum. That's 2 miles from Lake 10 Killer Dam. It's beautiful scenery. Come up, and it's from 6 to 8, our community meeting. Thank you.
thank you. Yes.
Yes, most of you have already heard this, but I am so excited that tomorrow is finally the grand opening of the Cherokee Nation Anna Mitchell Cultural and Welcome Center at Veneta, Oklahoma. Opening ceremony starts at 3 o'clock, and refreshments and tour after that. Be there or be square. Thank you.
Welcome, Counselor Callison. Are there any other questions? Yes. Was that a greeting? That was a greeting. Anything else? All right, I'd entertain one more motion. Would you like to make the motion to adjourn?
Adjourn. All in favor?
Aye. Okay, technically I have to say that. All in favor, aye.
Your vote.